Hello, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to share a story that I shared with one of my clients who she booked a call because she said, Rose, I have been watching your videos. I'm in the membership channel. I'm listening to people's success stories left and right. I'm watching people share that they get it, that their desires, are there, they're unfolding in front of them, all of this stuff. And she said, and I don't understand. She says, what am I missing? What is it that I'm not getting? Because I hear everything you're saying, and I just feel like I must be missing something. I'm not getting something. And then she says, I know you're going to tell me just stop saying you're missing something. And actually, I wasn't, but that was her. And she says, but I don't understand. So what I did, instead of just, reiterating what I say in my videos, what a lot of times that I do in my sessions is I'm very, I don't know, maybe it's because I was a former shrink and I used to be a teacher. I just don't like telling people what to do and giving them a set of instructions. And a lot of my clients tell me they appreciate this about me, that they say you have a gift to simplify things. And in a way, even though I listen to it, there's something about talking to you one-on-one about this that has really moved me. And a lot of times, people don't want to hear the same thing, like you're God, your source, right? And I pick up on people really quickly when I'm talking to them, and I can tell when they're upset and mad or frustrated or whatever. And I've had several new clients in the last couple of days, and they're just like all over the place as far as their level of awareness of who they are. And so I just kind of pick up on that. But with this particular client then I'm talking about, she has been, it's like she knows who she is. She knows her shit, basically, right? So I decided today, I shared a story with her that recently happened, with me. And it's a perfect analogy and explanation, another way to look at reality creation through the eyes of God, through source, right? That I'm going to share with you, that I intend is going to help many of you really ask yourself the same question. And I might have mentioned it before in other videos, but I'm going to talk about it in a different way today. So stick with me to the end of the video because you're going to like this story. And if you're interested in becoming a member, you guys know what to do. And if you're interested in joining us in New York City, you guys got plenty of time to sign up. I'm excited to meet you in person. I had to take a drink because I was eating my little Less Evil popcorn, which, by the way, is my favorite. Less Evil butter flavor. Anyway, okay, so a couple weeks ago when I was coming back from Paris, the day that I left, I woke up early in the morning with a really bad stomach ache. And I thought maybe I ate something bad. Maybe I got food poisoning or something. I don't know. But I was not well, and I was throwing up, the whole thing. I'm not going to give you guys too many details about that, but wasn't feeling good, okay? And I was like, first of all, I was grateful that it happened on the day that I was leaving, not sooner. And secondly, I was so grateful that all I had to do was get my ass to the airport. And I was grateful that I was flying back business class, so my seat was going to be laid flat. And all I had to do is get to the airport and get on the plane, and I get to sleep for 8 hours home. Like, come on. Like, I'm so grateful that was what was, ahead of me. So I get dressed, and I'm in an Uber going back to the airport from Paris, and I started getting a fever, and I started getting really sick on the plane. In the Uber, but I was just holding it all together so I didn't puke in his car or anything. But your girl was ready with the bag anyway. Anyway, I finally get to the airport. And as soon as I get out of the Uber, I start feeling sick again to my stomach. And I realized I still have to go to the duty free to submit the forms, to scan the forms. I still have to go check in, check my bags, you know, do that. And then I knew that after that, I had to go through several lines, like a passport line, you know, the security line, all of that stuff. I don't know what it is in Paris, but there's like, it seems like there's, you know, like 5 security points that you have to go to. Like, one's not enough. You got to go through 5 different lines for different things. And you have to show your passport like 3,900 times. Your ticket, your passport, like as soon as you did it like 3-4 times, you're like, girl, you're still not done. You got to show it some more. It's like, it just keeps going and going and going and going. You're like, I just showed it to that person standing there behind me. Why are you asking me to? Anyway. So I get to the airport, and then the first thing I realized, like, that was all the steps that I had to do. And I thought, okay, I have plenty of time, and I'm gonna get to, and then I'll be able to go sit in the business lounge and just go relax until my flight. So I'm at this point, I'm sweating. I don't feel good. I'm going to the bathroom to go puke. I'm sweating the whole time. And the thought through my mind went like, what was I thinking to manifest this? Like, why is this happening? Why am I assuming? Why don't I just say I feel better? Because I did, right? I did all that, okay? So I finally said, enough, right? I don't care anymore. All I care about is getting to that first class lounge so that I can sit there and relax and wait for my flight. That was my agenda. That was my goal. So I'm going through all these check lines and everything. I get to security, and the lady is like, you need to take that bracelet off, because I had several bracelets on, and she says, you need to take that bracelet off. That's probably going to go off when you go through the security. And I was like, I've never had to take any of my jewelry off to go through any of these, but I was like, okay, whatever. And she's like, do you want me to take it off for you? And I said, sure. I'm sweating, trying to keep my shit together so I don't look like I need to go to a hospital or something, because I just want to go home at this point. So I'm like sweating internally. All I want to do is throw up all over her. I don't care at this point what is happening. So I let her take the bracelet off, and she just throws it on top of my stuff in the bin, and it just gets thrown in there. And I was just like, I don't give a shit. Okay. And it's a nice, you know, it's a nice Tiffany bracelet. So it's not like, you know, I got it for $1 or something, right? But I'm so sick that I don't care, okay? I was like, I don't care. I don't care. So I'm going through security. And then I finally get through, put all my stuff on, put my coat, my shoes on, and I proceed to go to the lounge, and I, you know, take care of myself and get on the plane, okay? And on the plane, the flight is like, oh, here's your menu, like, you know, for you to decide what you want to eat. And I said, I don't need it. I said, the only thing I need to do is sleep, and you can bring me nonstop Sprite. That's all I want on this entire flight. Like, I wanted nothing, okay? So they're like, okay, no problem. So I started sleeping. At one point, they got really loud. And then the flight attendants with the service, I've never heard people slam those carts so loud before. I used to be a flight attendant, so I know all these noises and sounds, and they usually don't bother me, but for whatever reason, maybe because I wasn't feeling well, everything was like extra loud, right? So I decided to put my earphones on. And I brought my own noise canceling headphones, and the flight also provided noise canceling headphones. So I tried both of them, and it turns out that my monitor had no sound. It only had visual, but no sound. Mind you, I didn't care about music. I didn't care about movies. I just cared about sleeping. That's it. That was my agenda. Okay, no sound. I couldn't watch anything. I was trying to drown them out. And then I called the flight attendant over, and I said, hey, is there any way you can fix this or give me a different headset or something? And they tried everything, like, I mean, everything. And they're like, we're so sorry, but nothing's working, and you're not going to have sound on this flight. And they acted like I really was concerned and cared about it. I just wanted to go to sleep. And they were more worried and concerned that I didn't have entertainment for that 8-hour flight than I was. Like I said, I just wanted to sleep. They would not stop coming over and serving me, apologizing to me, like, can we get you anything? And I was just like, no, I just literally just want to sleep. They even brought the head flight attendant over, and he said, we're reimbursing you all your miles for this flight, because I had purchased my return flight on business class with miles, and they're like, we're returning all your miles of this flight. This is not okay. And I was just like, I said, awesome, thank you. And I didn't feel so good at that. I didn't even care about that, because I had already decided that somehow, some way, I'm benefiting from this, even from not feeling well. I was no longer concerned of trying to force myself to feel better, to think better thoughts, to say I'm healthy, I'm strong. Like, I wasn't even concerned about that. I wasn't concerned about why is this happening to me. I just had made a decision. I said, you know what, whatever, I'm benefiting from this. I'm benefiting from not feeling well. And every time I turned around, I kept receiving something more and more and more on that flight. And I thought, I'm like, and I had thoughts like, of course, because I decided that I'm benefiting from this. I didn't say how, I just knew it. So I finally get home, right? I finally get home, and I fall asleep for like 2 days. It turns out I had like some bug or whatever, it doesn't matter. And I thought, I don't care, I'm benefiting from this. I'm benefiting from this. And I did. I benefited from it in many, many ways. Many ways, okay? And then I said one day to myself, I said, where's my bracelet? Because when I tell you I wear these bracelets all the time, I like don't even take them off to shower. I sleep with them, whatever. So it was obvious when I started feeling better that my bracelet was missing. And I was like, I knew exactly, I could recall the whole airport scene with a lady in security who took it off and just threw everything on top. I had a backpack. I had a shopping bag. I had a bread with croissants in it for Bo. And I had my coat. I had my shoes. I had my belt off. Like, it was just piled up in there, and she just threw it on top. And then the first thing I thought is that thing got left in that bin, because I didn't secure it inside of anything. I was like, that thing got left in that bin. I'm like, that's gone. I was like, damn, like that was one of my favorite bracelets. And I was so mad, and I was like, damn, why did I do that? And then I was like, and I already had unpacked. Like, I remember I unpacked all my clothes, I washed all my clothes, I unpacked all my toiletry bags, everything. Like, I had already gone through everything and put everything away. And I was just like, damn. And I was like, you know what? I don't know, somehow, some way, that the whole bracelet saga is benefiting me too. I said it's benefiting me, and so it has to. So I allowed 2 weeks to go by. And because I kept thinking, I'm like, but what if it's in my bag still and I missed it? And I was like, no, I already looked for everything. And then I was so mad. I was like, no, I had to have been dropped in the Paris airport, one of those, in that bin. And I was so sick. And the reason I talk about being sick is because I was like, I didn't care. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't have all my P's and Q's about me to even pay attention to those stuff. So I was like, you know what, with all of that, so what? I'm like, so be it, whatever. It sucks. I really like it, but so be it. And then I just kept thinking on and off. I'm like, what if it is in the bag? And I was just like, but I already looked. I already did that. It's not in there. Like, I cleaned my suitcases out with wipes and everything before I put it away. And I was like, no, it's not in there. So here's the thing. I kept putting it off for almost 2 weeks to look in the bag, because out of fear that it wouldn't be in there, and that once I looked and it's not in there, then I would feel like I wasn't powerful enough for that to say that it's there, and it was there. So I procrastinated looking because of that. So yesterday, I decided to pull out the suitcase. Actually, the day before yesterday, at night before I went to bed, I decided to go get the suitcase out of that closet. And I pulled it out and I put it in the living room so that the next day, yesterday, when I woke up, I would see the suitcase and I'd have to deal with it. So yesterday, I pulled out the suitcase and I put the suitcase down on the ground and I opened it and I said, before you go any further, I said, what are you expecting to see here? Oh, well, my bracelet. Are you expecting to see it? Or are you just saying, it's here, I have it? Are you just saying, I have it, I have my bracelet, I have it, and you're hoping, you're wishing that despite all the thing that you think you remember and how it played out, you're saying that it's here, or you're hoping that it's here, or have you decided that it's here? I closed my eyes and imagined myself saying, yes, yes, okay, I got it. It was here, it was here. That's all I did. I closed my eyes and saw myself saying that to myself. And then I said, okay, let's open the suitcase with the expectation that it's here. Okay. So I opened the suitcase despite what I was feeling, despite all the scenarios and everything, the proof that I didn't have it, right? I said, no, I made a decision, and what I said is what is here, is what's happening. And I opened up the suitcase, one bag after the other bag, and I finally got to my backpack, and I opened the front pouch, and it was there, of course, because I had decided that it's there. Now, many of you might look at the story and say, oh, big deal, it's just a bracelet. Oh, I've done that many times before. I have found so many things. I said it was there. I have done it. It's like, that's not what this is about. What I want to share with you is the pause, the decision of me asking myself, is it here, or are you just saying that it's here? Are you, in fact, the truth? Is your word the truth? Or are you just hoping that your word is the truth? Is this a decision? Are you really expecting to see this here? Or are you just saying, I hope it's here? And I had to pause and ask myself that question, because many people, including this client who like, we moved her big time, right? Many people say, I've been deciding, I've been affirming, even to the point of I felt it in my body, just like you did, Rose. I felt it. I was so sure. I saw it. I felt it. I imagined it. It's real. It's true. I felt it, that it's true. Like, I had no doubt whatsoever that this is true. And it didn't happen. Okay. I mean, it's literally, I am or I'm not. I don't care how many times you tell me that you felt it, that you were sure about it, that it is what it is. You are the one deciding. You are the one and only reality, the one and only creator of your reality. So you have to ask yourself, do I accept that I am the creator of my reality? Do I accept that I am the only source of what's happening, right? Like, if I decide that bracelet is there, it's there. It's not I hope it's there. Let's see if this works. It's there, right? But whether it's bracelet or a health condition or your SP or money or job or a car or whatever the hell it is, like, when you declare or announce or assume that this is who you are, is it who you are or not? Because if it is who you are, then you're not sitting around saying, I'm waiting. Where is it? It didn't work. That's just a simple You said words and didn't decide that you are reality. It's that fact. It's that simple. Because there is no, it was a mistake, there's a delay, something's wrong with my self-concept, I messed it up, I didn't believe it enough, I didn't trust myself enough. It has nothing to do with that. You are source. You are reality. There is nothing else. It's you. So if you say that is who you are, that is who you are. But you can say those words and still not accept that you are the only reality, that you are the only cause. So the acceptance of I am a reality, what I say is the only thing that's going on here. That's all you're accepting. You are the truth. That your word is the only truth. Your word is the only thing that's ever true. But you can say these beautiful sayings in beautiful words, and you can quote beautiful coaches and beautiful books and beautiful teachers. You can quote them verbatim and say you've been studying and affirming and doing all this stuff. But until you know yourself as the one and only cause, you'll just be yapping. And you'll hit or miss some stuff. You'll get some stuff and then won't get some stuff and wonder why it worked here and not worked there. Even another client just recently, a little while ago, said, holy shit, she said, that's why before, when I was only affirming and affirming and affirming, she says, the things that I saw myself like, no, I know that what I'm affirming is true because I'm source. That's why this works. She said, I actually manifested those things. She says, but other things that I just kept affirming and affirming without believing and just robotically affirming or whatever, right? She's like, they just never seem to work for me. They just never seem to, nothing moves with it. She says, but when I did believe, I'm like, no, I am source, and that's why what I'm saying is true. Do you see? She recognized herself as a source. Affirmations are not the source. What you're saying is not the source. It's you recognizing that you are reality, that of course what I say is true. And if I say it, then that's exactly what I'm expecting. And a lot of you guys get like all hung up on the word expecting. You're like, well, is it expecting mean that you don't have it? It's like, remember, expecting it is just like, I already am it. I already am it. That's why I expect my word to be the only truth. That's what I'm saying by expecting. I'm not saying you're waiting around, sitting on your arse waiting for it. I'm saying I expect it because my word is the only truth. So if my word is the only truth, and if you're claiming to be source and creative your reality, and that you know this stuff, yet you're saying all this stuff and you're saying it didn't work, then you're still not seeing yourself as source, as the creator of your reality. There's no two if and buts about it. You either are or you're not. There's no in the meantime. There's no in between. There's no like, oh, maybe it's unfolding still, and it's not finished baking, blah, blah, blah. It's like you still have not stood on your own word. When you know yourself and accept yourself as source, as a creator of your own reality, that's all you expect, because you know you're it. Hope you guys enjoyed the story. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.